It's like 30 degrees outside, and yet I still have a blanket because I'm cold. May. There's a bug. Oh. I tried something different with my May spread, so I'll show it to you first, but it's kind of monochrome, and I really liked it because I was going for like a sea theme. Don't know why that was what I was in the mood for, but that's what I created. Ooh, it's zooming in on my face. Stop focusing on my face. There we go. So like that's what my like TBR shelf looked like, and then this was my page tracker. As you can see, I did really well with reading and such, and then these were like my little review pages. I ended up finishing 10 books. Well, almost 10 books. Mostly 10 books. And it was like a on and off kind of month. Started off a little rocky, not gonna lie. I ended up doing like a 24-hour readathon during it and had a fun time because I had a lot more time to read, which was I very much enjoyed it. But here's my stack. It's a little precarious. I just realized I kind of matched my theme. 10 books have finished. I like caught up with so many. I started, just to start the month, I started the month with like in the mood for I want to read something completely random, something that I wasn't planning on reading, something that wasn't on my like read that very soon shelf, and I picked up This Is Where the World Ends by Amy Zhang. This was the first book I have DNF'd this year. I'm gonna tell you that. This was very much needed trigger warnings for rape and suicide. Did not have that. I had to go online to figure it out. I think I read the first 50 pages before I was like, I know the outcome of this story and I don't feel like reading it. I was like not in the mood for that kind of story out. When I picked this up, I thought it was post-apocalyptic, the world ending. Like, I thought it was gonna be cool, and then it was not. It was basically a story of this friend finding out how one of his best friends from high school and his entire life died. It was not good. I read like the last 3 chapters to see what happened to her, and it was just like, it felt like I had read this story a bunch of times. It was just getting to the same conclusion in a different way, you know? So I just didn't finish it, and I will be unhauling this book because I really truly did not enjoy it, even though I barely read anything. So after that fiasco, I had to get myself into reading something that I knew that I was really gonna like. And for that, I reread Of Triton by Anna Banks. This is the second book in the Of Poseidon series. It's got mermaids. When I first read this, I thought that it was better as a duology rather than a trilogy, but I did appreciate it more this time. I gave it 5 stars again because this is one of the books that got me into reading. I never thought I would like a mermaid book. Still, I'm very cautious with mermaid books, but this one is a really good mermaid book. It follows Galen and Emma. Emma is half Sirena. Galen is a Sirena, that's what they're called, not mermaids. And Emma has the gift of Poseidon, which means she can talk to fish. And that's kind of an issue because technically she's illegal in the Sirena world. You're not allowed to have half-breeds. Her mother was a princess who thought she killed her lover and ran off to the human world and kind of accidentally had Emma. So she discovers all these things because Galen finds her and goes, "You're not human, are you?" And it's a whole thing. In this book, I believe it's this book, it might be the first book, they take a date and they go see the Titanic on the bottom of the ocean, and it is really cute. 10 out of 10 would recommend just for that part. The next book, I was also rereading this one. It is World After by Susan E. This is the second book after Angel Fall. The series is called Penryn and the End of Days. This one is a post-apocalyptic. Angels, God's angels, have come back into our world and taken over because they don't know what else they're doing with their life. So they just decided to take over and cause an apocalypse, which is a little chaotic, I'm not gonna lie. Penryn is this girl who gets tied up in it all when she witnesses another angel, Raphael. They chop off his wings. And when they chop off his wings, Penryn is with her sister Paige, and her sister Paige is paralyzed from the waist down, so she's in a wheelchair. And the other angels who chop off Raffi's wings notice them and decide to take Paige. So Penryn makes it her entire life's purpose to get vengeance and get her sister back, and she uses Raffi to help her. And in this one, they actually go to the prison. Oh my gosh, what is it called? In San Francisco, the famous island prison. Why does it sound like there's a clock over there? Please tell me that's like a leaf opening. That was so weird. Okay, sorry. Yeah, they go to the prison and rescue a bunch of people, and there are these, they call them locusts, but they are terrifying. Why is that noise being made? Who is making a noise? My plants are moving by themselves currently. Are you guys struggling? Like, what do you need? Because you're clicking and there's no air going on over there. The window is closed. Sorry. But anyways, I gave this 4 stars the first time I read it. I also gave it 4 stars. I like this series again, like the second time around. This is one of the books that I read at the same time I read of Triton. I read these when I first got into reading, and I very much enjoyed rereading them. It was like a breath of fresh air. The next book, however, was not a breath of fresh air, but it also was a reread. I did a lot of rereading this month, I'm not gonna lie. I read Burned by PC and Kristen Cast. I've read this 4 times now, and this was my favorite book in this series. It's no longer my favorite book in this series. I was very bored. I just had to get through it. I ended up giving it 3 stars just for like nostalgia, but I was like, no thank you. I don't know what else to tell you. The next book I did give 5 stars to. It got better. I ended up finishing a book that I've been reading for the last 3 years, and it is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This was my first Brandon Sanderson book that I had picked up, but in the 3 years that I was reading this, I did read Mistborn. So this is like amazing. I cannot stress to you how much I love Brandon Sanderson, even though I've read 2 of his books. I will be reading him until the end, reading his books until the end of time, because oh my gosh, high fantasy at its finest. This man is a god. This one follows 3 different points of views. I'm not going to remember anybody's name except for Kaladin's. Kaladin was a soldier, and then he did something stupid, and the person in charge of him at the war camp or whatever was like, you are now a slave. Stop it. I'm talking here. So he branded him as a slave, sold him, and was like, good luck. He ended up going to the war he was hoping to fight in as a bridgeman, which means he carries bridges so that the actual soldiers can cross the chasms because they're in the shattered plains. And he suffers. He just suffers the whole time. The other people it follows, the king's uncle, can't remember his name, but he is seeing some stuff. He is witnessing some things. He's got a lot of crimes to solve, some games to play, and just a lot to figure out. He's also seeing visions, which are super interesting, that tell him about the past, because there was a lot of things in the past that they need to figure out, that they should have remembered better. They have them written down, but not well. And he is trying to figure out how to save the kingdom while remembering these things, while also getting visions. Because there is a book called The Way of Kings that a different king wrote, and the king that wrote them is the king that's giving him visions. It's very weird. He's fun. However, my favorite storyline in here is following this woman who, her father has died, and he owed a bunch of like collectors money. He owed a shit ton of money, and so she takes it upon herself to step up in her family and make the money for the family, or get something that will make the money for the family to pay back these collectors, because they're broke. As soon as their dad died, they were basically broke, and they don't have the money to pay these people back. The way her father was getting money is he had a stormcaster, and he was changing rock to like limestone, and it was very like a hot commodity, and he could sell it really easily by finding limestone mines that he made himself. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna get another stormcaster. The only person they know that has a stormcaster happens to be the princess. She is also the king's aunt, I think. And she's a scholar. She travels and just studies things. So this daughter goes and tries to find the princess, the scholar, so she can study underneath her and steal her Stormcaster. And that is like a whole thing with plot twists left, right, and center. And oh my gosh, I wish I could talk to somebody about it because holy crap, it was so good. And this thing is like 1,258 pages. So good luck if you do choose to read it. It was amazing. I will be reading the other ones, and eventually I do have the audiobooks to help because the audiobook is really, really nice. There's 2 different, maybe 3 different readers, but this book has the like maps and stuff in it. So it's like a toss up at which one you want. And this is the pocket edition, so you can get like bigger ones. Like here, this is like, there's a map in there. But the audiobook, like on Audible, does have the maps. They're just like in a PDF file that's kind of separate. So it's complicated. Very nice. Very fun. 5 stars. If I could rate it higher, I would, because holy crap. The next book I read was also a reread, and it was Of Neptune by Anna Banks. This is the 3rd and final book in the Of Poseidon trilogy, and I so much enjoyed it the second time around. I understand why it had to be included this time around, whereas the first time I was like, why is this here? But I get it now. In this one, Galen and Emma go on vacation. And I think that's all I should tell you because it's super fun. And I read this when I did my 24-hour readathon, and I was like, wait, I forgot all this stuff happened because I didn't like the 3rd book so much. I think I just blocked out some of it. But I was like, this is so fun the second time around. So like 10 out of 10. Love it. The next book I gave 4 stars to, and it is Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. There was a lot going on in this one, and I'm not going to talk about it much because we still haven't done our live show to talk about the books for the Peripetide Book Club. However, it wasn't like my favorite. Like Clockwork Angel was really, really good, and this one also could have been really good, but I feel like I was really bored reading it, and I don't know if that was me or if it was because of the book, and I don't know. So I give 4 stars because like they did something, progress was made. It was just me who was bored. I don't know. So we'll talk about that in the live show when it happens eventually. The next book was also a reread. See, the month of rereads. I had a lot of fun. And then after this one, I decided I'm not rereading anything else this year. There's like 2, 3 more books out of like series that I'm halfway through rereading. And after that, I'm like, done. I can't do it anymore. And this was Awakened. I have decided that I don't need to be rereading this anymore for the 4th time. I'm just done with the House of Night. I'm going to unhaul the entire series. I loved it at a point in my life, and that was okay. But after reading Burned, Remembering was my favorite book of like the whole series, and being so disappointed in it, I've realized like I've moved on. And that's okay. Somebody else might enjoy these. The next book I gave 4 stars to, and I was like super impressed with, was Beautiful Chaos by Margaret, Stohl, and Cami Garcia. I said their names backwards, but that's okay. This is the 3rd book in the Beautiful Creatures series that I'm slowly making my way through. I read like 1 book a year. It's wild. I was like super in the mood to read this, and I was so glad that I did. I watched a video where somebody was like, Lena just gets more and more annoying as the series goes on. But honestly, she was just annoying in the 2nd book. She wasn't really annoying in this one. To be honest, the story fully revolves around Ethan, and I love Ethan, and I wish Ethan the world. So I'm perfectly okay with keep going because I fucking love Ethan. And that is my reasoning. But yeah, I give it 4 stars, and it's fun, and there's 1 book left, so I'm excited to finish it off. The dog says hi, obviously. And the 10th and final book I read was Hex Hall by Rachel Hawkins. I have thoughts. I gave this 3 stars, which I feel like was a little bit generous. I was very excited to be like magic school. There's shifters, there's witches, there's a vampire, there's fairies, there's all sorts of different magical creatures at this school. And it's not called the Hex Hall, it's called Hecate Hall. But they call it Hex Hall just for short, the students do. And there are a bunch of murders happening. People are dying. They can't figure out why. And the main character, Sophie, is just thrown into it. Her dad is the leader of the council. She's never met him, but he's apparently a warlock. Her mom is a human, has no idea what the heck is going on. So she ended up doing a love spell gone wrong and gets sent to Hex Hall because she is a bad witch that needs to be, I don't know, it's kind of like a, whatchamacallit. It's like when you fuck up as a kid and they send you somewhere else so you won't fuck up again. And it's on an island in the middle of nowhere. But anyways, it was not as exciting as a magical school I would have hoped it would have been. It was kind of boring as a magical school. However, it does get better because the second book was way better. And I do like Rachel Hawkins. I have read her other series before, the Rebel Belle, I think. That one was really good and I really, really love it. But this one, I had such high expectations and they were brought down and just crushed. And that sucked. So I was kind of super disappointed in this one. But good news is the second one is better. So I have hopes for the series. Hopefully the third one will be okay. But for now, this one is... it's a bust. It was like not that good. I understand because this was Rachel's like first series that she did. She did it before Rebel Belle, and that's okay. Like, it happens. That's what happens. This was like her first book, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it was before Rebel Belle, and it makes sense that it was done before. You know? So that's what I read in the month of May. My lovely little May spread. I did so good. I'm so proud of myself. I'll just say that. Oh, what was my favorite book that I read? Honestly, the best book about this whole stack was The Way of Kings, and I'm so thankful it was so good because I had a lot of struggles in May, and rereading, deciding to stop rereading a bunch of stuff, and all the other stuff that happened was like kind of a struggle. Why does the dog keep barking? First the plants and now the dog. I don't get it. But this was like a breath of fresh air, and I was very happy that I finally finished this. It was like a whole accomplishment within itself. You know what I mean? This is going into like my favorites of all time. Seriously. I need to like go around and take off the stickers off my books because like the indigo stickers are removable really easily. I just never put in the time to just go through and remove them, you know? Someone put the care into putting them on. Just kidding. I don't really care. Anyways, what was your favorite book in May? I've already shown you mine, The Way of Kings, even though I've read it for 3 years. It was really great. Oh my gosh, so great. What else was I gonna say? My train of thought is just, you know, I try really hard, but these sit-down videos are very difficult for me sometimes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are all having a great reading month whenever you see this, whenever it is uploaded. And I hope May 2021 was good for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!